This is Your Path, Live, with Bishop Mark, live from Dallas Universal Life Church in Dallas, Texas.
Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to Your Path Live with Bishop Mark. I'm your host, Bishop Mark Zorn, coming to you from Dallas Universal Life Church here in Dallas, Texas, as we do every Wednesday evening at 5:30 Central Time. Welcome to the show. We have a big one today, folks. It's been an eventful couple of days here at church. Yours truly was in the emergency room all night last night with our friend Don and William. I fell yesterday and busted my head open pretty good and have a little concussion. And then I broke my kneecap. So if you see me kind of sitting kind of awkwardly tonight, you'll know why. So I have a broken kneecap. I've got a big splint on it and I've got crutches and the whole 9 yards. So yeah, but I'm here. Hey, you got to say something about that. Listen, this show's about you. It's all about you. That's why it's called Your Path with Bishop Mark. We're here to talk about your day, your Christianity, your faith, your relationships. We're here to pray with you. We're here just to be with you. Whatever you want to do right now, it's up to you. Now, of course, we're going to have a topic we're going to talk about, and you can also break in and talk to me about the topic. And how do you get in here? Well, it's very simple. There's a little scrolling thing going across the bottom of your screen there. It says to go live with the bishop. You go to tinyurl.com/ I didn't see what it say yesterday. Bishop. What did I say? It was Bishop Jan 21. Bishop Jan 21, which is pretty simple. January 21st. Bishop Jan 21. So tinyurl.com/ Bishop Jan 21, or there's that QR code right there at the top of your screen. Just take your phone, open up the camera, click and hold it up there. It'll bring up a little link and click the link and you're right into our green room and ready to go. Okay. Please call in. I want to hear from you. I know you're out there watching and I'd really love to hear from you. Let me pray with you. Let me talk with you. Let me know who you are. At least just tell me where you're from. You know, something. Come on, guys. Help me out. Today we got a big one. This is a big one for us. Y'all ready for this? Okay. Here we go. We're probably going to run long. I'm going to warn you that right now. Tonight is not entertainment. Tonight is training. Because a lot of people are angry, and angry people are easy to manipulate. And a lot of people are scared, and scared people will trade their soul for a false sense of control. So tonight, I'm not here to whip you into a frenzy. I'm here to make you stable, truthful, useful, and dangerous to injustice. Tonight, we're talking about President Donald Trump and current events. And we're going to talk like Christians who refuse two sins, lying and violence. Now, we have some ground rules I want to talk about here. Number one, we don't preach rumors. Number two, we don't preach violence. Number three, we don't preach diagnosis. And number four, we do preach fruit, measurable outcomes, ethics, and human dignity. Now let's handle the mental health talk properly, because people keep throwing around mental checks like it's a weapon. The Goldwater Rule is an ethics standard of the American Psychiatric Association. It says psychiatrists should not give a professional opinion about a public figure's mental health unless they've done an examination and have proper authorization. And here's a short read aloud excerpt from the APA's Goldwater Rule blog. It is unethical unless he or she has conducted an examination and has been granted proper authorization. And the APA Ethics Committee opinion clarifies the underlying principles. Psychiatric evaluation occurs with consent or other authorization. Psychiatrists are ethically prohibited from evaluating individuals without permission or legal authorization. So tonight we are not diagnosing anyone from a distance. We are measuring fruit. Jesus said, by their fruit, you will recognize them, from Matthew 7:16. Now let's talk about the Bible. To put our Bible under the whole conversation that we're going to do right now. Woe to those who make unjust laws, Isaiah 10, chapter 1. Let justice roll on like a river, Amos chapter 5:24. Act justly and love mercy, Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Whatever you did for the least of these, Matthew 25, verse 40. We must obey God rather than human beings, Acts chapter 5, verse 29. If your politics makes these verses inconvenient, Your politics is discipling you. Tonight, I'm giving you a tool. First, I do this because I'm being annoyed over here. Everyone's getting these little 5 minutes of fame. All right, happy now? Sorry about that, folks. Tonight, I'm giving you a tool. Write this down. Christian speech ladder, level 1, fact. This is what happened according to credible reporting. Level 2, concern. This raises an ethics concern because explain the mechanism. Level 3, moral evaluation. This conflicts with the command to love neighbor, protect vulnerable. Level 4, action. Therefore, we will do X this week. Now, what you do not do is leap from a headline to a verdict. That's how you become the very thing you claim to resist. So, ask what you want tonight. Comfort or training. Tell me what you're seeing and fearing. Call in. The fact docket. Talk like a class. That's what this is going to be like. Talk like a class. I love these notes that I get. I put myself, and I don't tell myself it's the notes. I start reading them. Tim's in the audience with us today. He's here. Don was here a minute ago. He left. Okay. So, docket A. White House auto pin display mocking Biden. Contempt as governance. Here we go. What's reported? Number 1. Reuters reported Trump used a White House installation plaques to mock predecessors, including President Biden, with an auto pin image and critical text. Reuters reported the plaques were attributed to Trump's perspective and some statements were disputed. PBS also reported on the auto pin display and noted Trump alleged without evidence that auto pin use suggested wrongdoing. And what's not proven? The allegations implied by the auto pin presentation are not established as fact by those reports. So don't preach them as fact. I won't. Number 3, why it matters. Humiliation normalizes contempt. Contempt makes cruelty feel righteous, and cruelty makes injustice easy. Number 4, do to others as you would have them do to you. Luke chapter 6, verse 31. What do Christians do? We refuse humiliation, politics as entertainment. We criticize policy with facts, not mockery. When did contempt become normal in your family or online? How do we disagree without dehumanizing? That's a good one. What's one sentence you can use to de-escalate a conversation? Call in and tell me. Let's talk about this Qatar jet, this unconditional donation and ethics over legality. So what's reported? ABC News reported that Trump administration accepted an unconditional donation of a luxury jet from Qatar, and that an agreement reviewed by ABC said there was no stipulation about what happens after Trump leaves office. ABC also reported security concerns and that the aircraft was expected for presidential use, with later transfer to a presidential library foundation, per sources familiar with the matter. And what's not proven? Well, you cannot preach a specific quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. They gave this, therefore they got contracts, unless you have a proven specific exchange. And why it matters. A gift from a foreign government to the apparatus of executive power raises influence risk, appearance of conflict, incentives to soften decisions, and public distrust. Corruption is not only cash in an envelope. Corruption is a system that makes influence purchasable. You cannot serve both God and money. Chapter 6, verse 24. What do we do as Christians? Will we demand transparency, safeguards, and oversight without inventing crimes? So what is the difference between legality and morality? Can you tell me? Should leaders avoid conflicts even when allowed? What safeguards would satisfy you? Tim, go ahead and cough. Get it out. He's trying not to cough over here and making it worse. All right. Docket C, here we go. The East Wing, demolition, and White House ballroom. Let's talk about some public trust here, huh? Don't forget, tinyurl.com/bishopjan21. tinyurl.com/bishopjan21. So you get on with it here. Okay. What's reported? AP reported Trump appointed new members to the Commission of Fine Arts to review the White House ballroom plan, and that the East Wing had already been demolished as the project moved forward amid litigation. Also, AP reported preservationists sued to halt the project pending required reviews and public input. AP reported the White House said it wasn't economical to save the East Wing due to structural issues and described the ballroom scale and private funding claims. Now, what's not proven? Do not assert corporations paid for it and got contracts as fact without proving cases. What matters and why it matters? Public property plus private donors plus rushed process equals oversight risk. Let me say that again. Public property plus private donors plus rushed process equals oversight risk. Even if intentions are defended, even if intentions are defended, the structure invites distrust. Number 4, through the lens of the Bible, act justly, love mercy, walk humbly. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Humble leaders don't treat public trust like personal branding. What do we do as Christians? Well, we advocate for lawful process, transparency, independent review, no rumors. So what should be off limits to personal vanity in government? Here's a good one. What oversight should exist before major changes? How do you hold leaders accountable without dehumanizing them? Rules that they'll follow without finding loopholes? Maybe? Okay. The lines are open, folks. Give me a call. Let's talk about this. This is big stuff here. All right. Let's talk about some foreign policy and diplomacy. Ready for this? Greenland pressure and Europe backlash. Coercion has consequences. You think so? And what's reported? Reuters reported the European Parliament halted progress on an EU-US trade agreement in response to Trump's attempts to acquire Greenland and tariff threats against allies opposing the plan. Other major outlets reported similar backlash and political fallout across Europe. Now, what is not proven? We can't preach that all of Europe is permanently against America as a settled permanent fact, but we can preach this is a major rupture and an ongoing backlash. But why does it matter? Coercion degrades alliances. Alliance degradation increases instability. Instability punishes ordinary people first, like prices, security, conflict risk. What does the Bible say about it? Blessed are the peacemakers. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. And what do we do as Christians? Well, we reject nationalist idolatry. We demand peacemaking. We support diplomacy and lawful international conduct. We reject national idolatry. We demand peacemaking. We support diplomacy and lawful international conduct. Hello, Mr. President. Venezuela. The Maduro capture and legality debate. Lawful ends and lawful means. So what's reported? Reuters reported the legality of the U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was scrutinized at the United Nations, and that legal experts widely regarded it as illegal absent UN authorization, consent, or self-defense justification, with UN Secretary General warning of a dangerous precedent. What's not proven? You can't preach a full classified timeline of or motive. We have to stick to what's reported: legality, debate, condemnation, precedent concerns. And why does it matter? Because Christians must learn this. Right goal plus wrong method equals future chaos. Right goal, wrong method, future chaos. If powerful nations normalize unilateral raids, the world becomes lawless and the vulnerable get crushed. What does the Bible say about this? We must obey God rather than human beings. Acts chapter 5, verse 29. What do we do as Christians? We insist on legal accountability and restraint, even when confronting dictators. Can you fight evil without becoming evil? Is that possible? What guardrails should govern military power? What does dangerous precedent mean to your conscience? Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Medal spectacle, power plus praise equals intoxication. Now, what's reported? Reuters report that Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, said she presented Trump with her Nobel Peace Prize medal, and this became part of public political theater around Venezuela. Related coverage noted Nobel Prize norms that the prize is inseparable from the laureate, even if medals can be physically given away. In other words, it's not transferable. We can't preach bribe as fact, but we can preach appearance of influence and spectacle. Why does this matter? Well, praise can become a drug. Spectacle can replace accountability, and Christians must refuse to be hypnotized by performance. And there's been a lot of performance going on. What does the Bible say? Watch out for false prophets. By their fruit, you will recognize them. Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 through 16. What do we do as Christians? We focus on measurable outcomes, not media photo ops. Again, we focus on measurable outcomes, not media and photo ops. Mr. President? Immigration, accountability, and the fruit test. Here we go. Pope Leo XIV rebuke on immigration and human dignity. So what's reported? Reuters reported that Pope Leo criticized Trump administration, immigration policies, and called treatment of migrants extremely disrespectful, urging dignity and humanity while acknowledging nations control borders. Okay, so what's not proven? We can't attribute additional statements not in the reporting. We have to stick to what's in Reuters. Extremely disrespectful, dignity, humanity emphasis. Now, why does this matter? The church's credibility lives or dies on whether we treat the stranger as human. Policy debate is legitimate. Dehumanization is sin. What does the Bible say about this? Love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22, verse 39. And neighbor especially includes the stranger. So what do we do as Christians? We build dignity infrastructure, legal aid partnerships, accompaniment, translation, rides, childcare, lawful support without reckless talk. Convicted felon, accuracy plus why accuracy is a Christian issue. Here we go. So what's reported? Reuters reported Trump was convicted by a jury in May 2024 on 34 felony counts in the New York hush money case, and that the judge sentenced him to an unconditional discharge. You didn't know about this, did you? This was kind of hush-hush at the end. The judge sentenced him to an unconditional discharge. Conviction remains, no jail, no fine. With further legal arguments continuing. Now, why does this matter? Accuracy is not being nice. Accuracy is spiritual discipline. If you exaggerate, you hand your opponents a weapon and you damage your witness. The Bible says this: the Lord detests lying lips. Proverbs 12, verse 22. January 6, pardons at scale, mercy versus favoritism. So what's reported? Reuters reported that Trump pardoned nearly everyone charged in the January 6 attack, about 1,500 defendants, including members of Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Reuters reported experts warned this could embolden far-right groups and political violence. AP similarly reported experts worried pardons legitimize political violence and embolden extremists. So what they're saying is, by pardoning these people, you're saying what they did is okay and encouraging it in the future, Mr. President. Are you? You say you didn't encourage it then, but it sure sounds like it to me when you say you're pardoning them. So the teaching of this, mercy is not the same as favoritism. Mercy addresses rehabilitation and justice. Favoritism rewards tribal loyalty. When power uses mercy as a political weapon, you normalize violence as a tool of politics. Is that really what we want? So what does the Bible say? Blessed are the peacemakers. Matthew chapter 5, verse 9. So what do we do as Christians? We defend rule of law because rule of law protects the vulnerables from the powerful. Profit and branding while in office. Here we go with this. So what's reported? Reuters reports Trump disclosed more than $600 million. Reuters reported that Trump disclosed more than $600 million in income from crypto, golf licensing, and other ventures, and noted ongoing conflict of interest concerns, even with business held in a trust, because benefits ultimately flow to him. Reuters also reported how it tallied major Trump organizations' crypto income, underscoring scale relative to traditional revenue streams. What is this teaching us? The throne is not a storefront. If public office becomes an advertising platform, as it has, citizens become customers, and customers get exploited. What does the Bible teach us about this? You cannot serve both God and money. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. Mr. President. So what do we do as Christians? We demand strong ethics, rules, and transparency. Refuse cultic excuses. It's pretty strong there. Demand strong ethics, rules, and transparency, and refuse cultic excuses. Here we go. Talk about genocide. The core teaching fire unit. Here we go. Genocide claims, words, and witness. The loaded word lesson. If you want to be heard, speak precisely. You use the word genocide. I understand the moral outrage behind it. But here's the teaching. Some words are legal terms with specific definitions. If you use a legal term without meeting its definition, people will dismiss your entire message. So here's the Christian way. I can say, or you can say, inhumane, cruel, reckless, predictably deadly, a violation of neighbor love, a betrayal of Matthew 25. We should be careful saying genocide as a factual legal claim unless we're prepared to prove intent in the legal elements. So here we go. Truth is not only what you feel, truth is what you can stand on when challenged. When I'm talking about genocide there, what we were talking about, what I want to expand on that a little bit. I think it's actually going to go in some more in the next section here. Many have called it genocide the fact that Mr. Donald Trump has taken Medicare, Medicaid away from 12 million people. He has removed funding for research on HIV and AIDS and cancer and other diseases. He's taken away food programs from hungry children in our country, while at the same time giving more tax breaks to the rich. The rich keep getting richer, and the poor are now dying. What do you call it? What Christians do next? Action that matches the message. The Christian resistance plan: nonviolent, lawful, and relentless. Step 1, truth discipline tonight. Verify before sharing. Correct publicly if wrong. Refuse dehumanizing language, and refuse diagnosis as insult. That's step 1. Step 2, mercy infrastructure. That's 30, 60, 90-day build. Food support, weekend packs, pantry partners. Medication transport, microfund. Benefits, navigation nights. Immigration dignity support, legal aid partners, accompaniment. Step 3, accountability habits, weekly. Call reps with one specific ask. Show up local, school board, county health, city council. Support oversight, watchdog organizations, legal aid, credible investigation journalism. Step 4, spiritual warfare, weekly. Prayer that fuels action, not prayer that replaces action. Faith by itself is dead. James chapter 2, verse 17. You got to do something, folks. So, this is where we're going to be. Truthful without cruelty. Merciful without cowardice. Bold without violence. Organized without idolizing power. Act justly. Love mercy. Walk humbly. Micah chapter 6, verse 8. Get some more notes here. I have a lot of notes. We'll come back to that in a minute. We'll take a quick break. And I want you to call in, folks. There's a lot to talk about here. I threw it all out there. What do you think? What's going through your mind on this? I mean, I know a lot of people that are still very much Donald Trump supporters. Tell me why. If you're listening today, if you're watching today, tell me why. Talk to me about what we've talked about here. These allegations, if you will. And let's just be civil about it and go through it. Seriously. I think it's time for conversations to start happening and all the division and rhetoric and BS to stop. Because that's all just smoke and mirrors. All of that pulling us apart, dividing us, making us angry with each other. It's smoke and mirrors. They're just getting what they want. You know? These billionaires, we're going to have trillionaires in our country. We should not have trillionaires in this country. And people still going hungry. Something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. All right. Let's find a little commercial I want to put on here for you. And we'll come right back after that. And hopefully you'll call in. Don, I know you're out there. Call in. You'll call in last minute. Watch. All right, let's see what we're going to do here. Let's do this one right here. Folks, we'll be right back.
The Zoo Radio Network exists for one reason: to reach people where they are with music, conversation, and truth that still matters. In a world full of noise, the Zoo is a place for connection, reflection, encouragement, and real talk about faith, life, and purpose. Hi, I'm Sean, and I want to tell you a little more about who the Zoo Radio Network is. We are not backed by corporations. We are not driven by profit. We are powered by people. Your support keeps the Zoo broadcasting not only great Christian music, but also modern pop, classical, country, and live programming that speaks to real life. It allows us to produce shows like Your Path Live with Bishop Mark, stream worship services, amplify unheard voices, and remain accessible to anyone who needs hope. No paywall, no barriers. So, why does your support matter? Running a radio network takes more than passion. It takes broadcasting and streaming infrastructure, music licensing and royalties, studio equipment and technical support, website hosting and digital platforms, outreach, promotion, and community programming. Every dollar given goes directly into keeping the Zoo strong, stable, and growing. This is more than radio. The Zoo is ministry without walls. It reaches the lonely at night. It reaches the seeker who won't walk into a church. It reaches the believer who needs to be reminded they're not alone. When you give, you are not just funding a station. You are investing in lives being touched every single day. How can you help? We have a program designed so that all can give without breaking the bank. One-time gift, make an immediate impact. Monthly partner, become part of the backbone of the Zoo. Sponsor a program or hour of airtime. Dedicate it in honor or memory of someone meaningful. No gift is too small. Every gift moves the mission forward. Stand with us. Keep the signal alive. If the Zoo has encouraged you, challenged you, comforted you, or helped you feel connected, now is your chance to give back. Support the Zoo Radio Network today and help us continue broadcasting hope, truth, and real faith into a world that desperately needs it. Give, share, Be part of The Voice. Visit www.yourdallas.church and go to the Donate tab to make your tax-deductible donation today. Thank you from all of us at the Zoo Radio Network.
Dallas Universal Life Church, led by Bishop Mark, has cultivated a unique approach to Christianity that emphasizes selflessness, an open dialogue with God, and service to others. The church's values are centered around being men and women for others, and they actively seek out opportunities to serve their community. Bishop Mark's leadership approach is refreshing, encouraging people to have raw and honest conversations with God and promoting an inclusive relationship with the divine. Their belief in accepting all beliefs and ideologies and recognizing the path to God is unique and fosters an environment of inclusivity and acceptance. In today's world, where divisiveness seems to be the norm, Dallas Universal Life Church offers a refreshing and inspiring approach to faith. Their values of selflessness, service, and inclusion are a testament to the positive impact that religion can have on individuals, communities, and society as a whole.
For more information about Dallas Universal Life Church, please visit www.yourdallas.church.
Turn some sound on. How about that? How about some sound? Is it a little better? Welcome back to Your Path Live with Bishop Mark. I'm your host, Bishop Mark Zorn, coming to you live from Dallas Universal Life Church here in Dallas, Texas. Beautiful night here in Dallas. We've got some really, really cold weather coming up. I know the rest of the country's starting to feel it too. And I know we've got some winter storm warnings coming into Dallas. And so please be safe this week, folks. It's going to be nasty. Dallas gets about one really big ice storm a year, and this is going to be it, I think. And it's going to be a nasty one. So, pray for those who are out there who don't have shelter, and that they get someplace safe, because we're talking about some deadly temperatures here in Dallas. And Dallas isn't quite prepared like they are up north for storms like this. We don't get a lot of snow here. We get a lot of ice here. It's a little different. So I'm really going to love that being on crutches. It's going to be a lot of fun in the ice. But, we do what we have to do. God works in mysterious ways. I don't remember. I felt naked about something. I don't have my cross on. Maybe something was wrong. Go. I think I don't have my slacks on either. I got lounge pants on because I got a big cast on my leg. Slow down when you're getting up and trying to get somewhere. Don't rush to the front door, because it's not a good idea. Believe me, I can tell you that from the fact. Here's my hospital band right here. So now I have to go see a specialist and find out if they're going to have to do surgery on my knee or not, or if I just have to wear this cast for about a month and a half on crutches, or what's going to happen next. That's going to be the next step. Keep me in your prayers, please. All right, we talked about Donald Trump today. We talked a lot about Donald Trump. And I'm going to go over, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, because I don't want to do that. But I'm going to tell you what we talked about, and hopefully you'll call in. If not, I just hope you're thinking about this and thinking about what I talked about. And if you need to, go back and watch this again, because there's a lot of information there. I talked about a lot. I want you to think. I want you to get those wheels turning. That's the whole idea of this. Okay? So, let's see. We talked about the Goldwater rule. The APA blog, plus the ethics committee opinion on what's going on with. Let me go back and look it up, because I don't want to make sure I do it exactly right here. Where is it? See it right here. I had like 5 different versions of this. I was going to different versions of edits I did of this. I was trying to rush here at the end to get it done, and I ended up like all of them on my screen. So I'm going, okay, wait, no, that's not it. Okay, that's closer that way. Okay. Let's talk about this. Let me just do this. Let's do this. Let's do this now. Here's the solution. And you're not going to like it because it's not entertaining. The solution is not violence. The solution is not rumor. The solution is not worshiping a different idol. The solution is a church that becomes a living contradiction to corruption. Verify before you speak. It's called truth discipline. Correct when you're wrong. Refuse propaganda, especially when it flatters your side. Mercy infrastructure. If the vulnerable are threatened, the church becomes a supply line: food, rides, meds, navigation, care. We step in. Number 3, justice witness, calls, meetings, court support, legal aid, oversight, voting, documentation. A lot of work. Number 4, courage. Stand with the vulnerable when it costs you comfort. Number 5, prayer that moves your feet. Prayer is not hiding. Prayer is fuel. Faith by itself is dead. James chapter 2, verse 17. So we will not lie. We will not dehumanize. We will not worship power. We will protect the vulnerable. Yeah. My mind is just going, not even messing language and different areas right now, because there's so much here that I even putting this together, I was like, what in the world is going on? I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. I have a concussion now. I feel like maybe I feel more normal with a concussion than I have in a long time. Venezuela, the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, he and Machado are both banned now for life from receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, and she's been asked to return the $10 million prize, and the prize, that Nobel Peace Prize, is now invalid. It's non-transferable, folks. And Trump, in his letter to the government of Norway, said that they didn't give him the Peace Prize. That's why he's trying to take Greenland. Well, the government of Norway does not give the Peace Prize. It's a committee in the country that does that, but it's not the government officials that do that. I sometimes wish and wonder where our president is getting his facts from. Immigration, accountability, and the fruit test. You know, Pope Leo rebuked Trump on his immigration stand. He called it, and I think this is being very light about it. He's called the treatment of immigrants and migrants extremely disrespectful. He urged dignity and humanity while acknowledging nations control borders. He's saying, yes, you have to be able to control your borders, but you can't treat these people like this. The masked men running through the cities, running through businesses, running through churches and schools, the masked men on the streets killing innocent Americans and trying to make it as if they were some vigilante that they killed. It was a good thing they did. They took the person off the street. Let me tell you something. Video doesn't lie. What happened in Minneapolis was an atrocity. And for Trump's people to stand there, and all of them, almost as if they had rehearsed the script, talking about how she got what she deserved, basically. She tried to kill them. That's not what the video shows. And she's not the only one, believe it or not. I watched I don't know if you ever watched on YouTube. They have this group that does AI, and they take the people who have passed away, and they'll like either put them in heaven, choose their wings, or they'll say that they'll do it like they died passed years ago, like someone passed very young, like say 20, and they'll put their age now, would it be now like a 50, and they would look like now. It's an interesting way to look at things. If you've ever seen it, go take a look at it. It's on YouTube or on Facebook as well. But I saw today that they had done one of all the people that have died at the hands of ICE. You want to see what that is, please? Somebody visiting, obviously, right at the wrong time. It's all people that have died at the hands of ICE. It wasn't just one person. It's many, many. So this idea of vigilante running through the streets with masks on and just taking people off the streets and profiling them. Okay, I don't know why it made any sense. Okay, moving on. Oh, I love surprises. Okay, so moving on. So Pope Leo talked about him being a convicted felon and why accuracy is a Christian issue. Because look, yeah, he was a convicted felon, but here's the important thing that I think was publicized very much. I think we need to understand. The judge sentenced him to an unconditional discharge. I've never heard of that before, but I'm not a lawyer. The conviction remains, so he's still a convicted felon, but no jail and no fines. How is that possibly justice? It's just a question. How is that just? How is any kind of justice being passed down there? You basically convicted him, said he was wrong, and then didn't even slap him on the wrist. Just said, okay, go. There's still further legal arguments continuing with that. Okay. Pardons. Let's talk about those pardons. He pardoned more than 1,500 people from the January 6th insurgents on the January 6th attack. 1,500 people. Yet he said he didn't support it and wasn't the instigator of that. He wasn't involved. It sounds to me like he was. Why would you say it's okay by pardoning these people if you didn't have some sort of hand in to begin with? I like how we talked about this. Mercy was not the same as favoritism. It's not. Mercy addresses rehabilitation and injustice. Favoritism rewards tribal loyalty. This is important here. When power uses mercy as political weapons, you normalize violence as a tool of politics. And that's what they've done. And you're seeing it all over the country. The first term, we had the riots. We had all this stuff going on with him. Tear gas in front of the White House. Big fences in front of the White House so he could go stand outside with the Bible. They tear gas all the people off the street so he could go stand out in front of the Bible for a photo op. Look, when you say what you want about Biden, I'm not trying to be one or the other here. I'm very middle ground. I'm not a staunch Democrat or a staunch Republican. I vote for what I believe in. I don't vote based on political lines. And I think that's what screws up our country. But honestly, say what you want about Biden, but I don't remember there being any protests and violence and revolts in the street like there have been both terms of Donald Trump. I don't remember that. And I could be wrong, but I don't remember it. If you remember it, tell me about it. I mean, we have the right. And here's the thing about that: even if they did in the Biden administration or any other administration that we've had in this country, they would not have been told that if you riot, if you go against what's being said by the president, if you disagree at all and voice that disagreement, you would be put in jail. They were never told that, except by Donald Trump, which I believe is a direct conflict with our Constitution, as well as many, many other things that he has done. Profit and branding. This one blows my mind, folks. What are we doing? This man has made $600 million in income from crypto, golf, licensing, and other ventures. And it's noted as an ongoing conflict of interest concerns, even with business held in a trust, because benefits ultimately flow to him. They put it in a trust, say, oh, well, his daughter's running that business. Baloney. It's blatant. It's right there in front of us, and we just go, okay. I don't get it. Am I in the Twilight Zone? I've never seen a president Look, I'm all about the man making money. If you want to make money, but not when you're the president of the United States. You don't make it because of your presidency. You don't use that sacred office to pad your pockets. Do it after you get out. The rest of them do. They make money when they go out and do their speeches. You don't want to work. Because what the whole problem is, you just want to make it off the people and pad your pockets while you're there in the office and get pampered. Sorry, sir, but that's what it looks like. I'm trying not to be too emotional about this because some of this stuff really ticks me off. That we as an American public, American people, first of all, we are one America, folks. Let's stop this crap of Democrat and Democrat and Republican. I've never seen a president in my life, once he became president, be so polarized to still say, well, the Republicans are this and wonderful, and the Democrats are still doing this to us, and they're still doing this to us. You are the president of the United States, sir. You're not the president of the Republicans. When you became president and took that oath, you became the president of the United States. I understand when you're in campaigning or whatever, and I want to go at each other, whatever. Okay, fine. I think it's rather sophomoric, but whatever. But now is not the time to be continuing to divide this country, because a house divided cannot stand. And you have divided, we have all been divided over and over and over and over and over again. Republican versus Democrat, gay versus straight, Christian versus Muslim, man versus women, ICE versus the police, governors versus the president, black versus white. Where does it stop? Where does it stop? When we're so weak because we're so divided that any country can come in and take us, like we just did to Venezuela? Like we've threatened to do to Greenland? What's going to happen when you get a taste of your own medicine, Mr. President? Will you be around to take that taste? Or you just leave it for us? Without healthcare, and without medicine, and without research to save us. A lot of what I say is controversial, folks. And this is tonight is no different. And a lot of it is my opinion. I have that right. It's my show. I can do that. But the facts are the facts. And the facts are not pretty. The facts are not, they make us look like, well, first of all, we're the laughing stock of the world. Excuse my language. We're the laughing stock of the world. We are. And we're the laughing stock of the world because we have allowed someone to use us. It's no way I can put that nicely. And we keep bending over and allowing him to use us over and over and over again. I don't know why. Why are we so afraid of this man? I think it's time we give him a taste of his own medicine. You're fired. Well, great. He found every loophole there was to find in our Constitution, in our rules, and our laws, and he is benefiting from it. The disrespect of putting his name above the name of John Kennedy. In a memorial to him, naming of that theater, the memorial to John Kennedy, for you to put your name over his, for you to put it on there at all is ludicrous. But for you to slap everybody in the face, including anybody in the Kennedy family, but anybody American too, and put your name on top of their, no reason because you wanted to. Who the hell are you? I mean, I think that shows your character, sir. And I think that's pretty pitiful. I'll tell you again, I'm not left or right. I'm very much middle ground. People believe that when I tell them that. I don't know why. I am, though. Because this polarity, this thing we're doing to each other, this fighting amongst each other, it's killing this country, folks. I mean, no matter how much you love America and think you're fighting for America, you're not. By being polarized like this and fighting against each other, we're just making ourselves weaker. I have a theory, and I'm going to throw it out here. And we are going to run a little bit over because we started a little late. Okay, so bear with me. This is my theory. This is my opinion. It's not fact-based or anything else. It's just what I feel, okay? Watch this. When I was growing up, we had something called the Cold War going on. And I remember America when I was growing up, it's very much more unified. We were Americans. We weren't Republicans. And we were, so, we had Republican Democrats. We had, the elections and whatnot. But the elections weren't 4 years long either. We had a year, and then we had the elections, and then we did our regular business and just keep going. It seems like now it's campaigning 24/7, 365 for whenever. It's always campaigns going on. Change this, change that, change that. Oh, the Democrats this, oh, the Republicans that. I'm so tired of it. Anyway, moving on from that. When I was growing up, we had something called the Cold War. And I think that's important to understand that we were unified as an American people against an enemy. We were. The space wars. We were trying to beat Russia in the space wars and making it to the moon and everything else. And I think when we had that, we put money into education. We put money into our children growing up and helping them to become scientists and become people that can help us win these wars and help us fight against the communists, right? I'm not saying it's a great thing that we have to have an enemy to do that, but that's what it was. We were Americans, and we were against the big red country over there. Well, it all changed when Russia became Russia instead of the USSR, and became a democratic nation. We lost that antagonist. And I think, in my opinion, I don't know why we as humans have to be this way, but for some reason we have to have something to fight for. I mean, look at our sports. I mean, look at all these things we do. Even in high school, grade school, we're number one. We got to fight for it. Okay, fine. But we can't fight with each other. And that's what's happened because we didn't have an antagonist. Yeah, we have enemies out there. We have China, we have North Korea, we have Russia, but you know what? It's not like it was with the Cold War. It's not the same. These are minor antagonists, if you will. The Cold War was very serious. That was the Cuban Missile Crisis. We were looking at nukes right off our shore, aimed at us. It's very real. And I think by having that Cold War end, we then turn on ourselves because we didn't really have an antagonist to go after. So we did. That's what we've done in so many different ways, not just Republican versus Democrat, but again, black versus white, male versus female, gay versus straight, Christian versus Muslim. So where does it end? Because look, folks, I don't know if you see it. I mean, step out of the ring for a minute and look down on what's going on in this country. It's not pretty. And try and step out and look at what the other countries are seeing here, what our allies are seeing us do, what they are now saying about us as a country. Is that who we really are? Are we really what Donald Trump has made us to be? Has portrayed American people to be? Because I'm not. I'm not. I'm still proud to be an American because of our history. I'm so proud to be American because of our heritage. I'm so proud to be American because of what America stands for and hopefully still stands for. But I am deeply saddened by the events that have been going on in America this last year, especially. And what even makes me more upset and more confused and more unhappy is that more people of you aren't. Just business as usual. Just we as a country waste our right to vote to begin with. We don't care. 20, 30% maybe vote for national elections, less than that for local elections. That's ridiculous. We have a right to vote. It's an honor. You know how many people out there in this world don't have that chance? They're just told who's going to lead them, period. That's it. You don't get a choice. We have a choice. And either we waste it by going and saying, oh, I'm a Republican. I don't know who they are, but I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. And we don't do our research. I mean, look, it's an honor. It's a privilege. It's a right to vote. But it's also, with those privileges and those rights, comes some responsibility. You've got to use your brain that God gave you and discern on which one is going to do what you want. Because then what happens is you get Republicans in there and you realize, oh, this guy's not doing what I wanted him to do. What is he doing? That's not what I asked for. He's not supposed to do that. Well, why not? That's what he talked about this whole campaign. But you thought just because we're Republican, he was going to be this way. And that's not the case, folks. Republicans do differ on their opinions on a lot of things. They don't all vote on the same thing and agree on the same thing. Same with Democrats, same with independents. That's part of the lovely thing about America is we can do that. So when you just go in and do that, pick I'm a Republican. Oh, I'm a Democrat. You are wasting your vote and you're making yourself look like an idiot. Sorry. Use the brain that God gave you. Take a little bit of time and care about your country. Because all you'll do is bitch about it when something goes wrong. Well, you voted for him. Nobody to blame but the person in the mirror there. You voted for them. And then I hear things about when Donald Trump was elected I've heard a lot of people say this to me. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I've heard people say, oh, yeah, they paid me. I got paid to vote for Trump. You go, what? Oh, yeah, I got $100. I got $100 to vote for him. I need that $100. And I don't know how widespread this was over the country, but I've heard it several times. That's a little strange to me. I've never heard that before in my life of any election I've ever been involved in with people getting paid to vote for somebody. Would you have voted for them if they hadn't paid you? No. Probably wouldn't have voted at all. Interesting. Okay, folks. I know there's going to be some backlash on this one. That's okay. That's what this is about. I want to hear from you. You didn't call in tonight. I'm really surprised. Don? Okay. Don't forget, coming up this Sunday. Oh, wait, which one say? Coming up Friday on the Zoo. THEZUE.net, which you heard about earlier. It's our radio network. We'll have exploring the official starts the weekend. The official starts the weekend with Bishop Mark at 5 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. sharp Central Time, where I'm going to play some great music and bring you into the weekend, help you just kind of transition from the week into the weekend and relax a little bit. Then coming up Sunday, we have Exploring Your Faith Live with Bishop Mark, which is our Sunday service. It's at 3 p.m. Central Time, and you can catch that on dulc.online.church, dulc.online.church, at 3 p.m., followed by the Bishop's Roundtable. We have a new board of directors that's taking over this coming week, and we're excited about that. We had our elections last week, and we'll have all of that information coming next Sunday. Talk about that. And then again, coming back to you next Wednesday right here, Your Path Live with Bishop Mark at 5:30 Central Time, where we'll talk hopefully about you. Call in. All right. Let's close this out. There's a lot to think about here. I know there is, and I want you to rewatch this if you can and come back and talk to me. My email address is mark@yourdallas.church. That's my personal email address for work here. mark@yourdallas.church. Use it. If you have questions, you want to call in, whatever, I check my email. I'll look at it. I'll be glad to talk to you about it. I'll be glad to email with you. If you don't want to talk about it online, that's fine. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. It doesn't have to be online. We don't have to be on air because I think it's that important. That I will talk to anybody that wants to talk to me about these things I talk about online, on air, offline, and off air. Because if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. Because it's that important. Every person's mind that I can hopefully help educate to do better and to be a better American and be a better Christian, I'll do it any way I possibly can. Okay. A little prayer here. Close it out with a prayer. You should. Get in there. Lots of stuff there. There's a lot on there. Okay. Faith by itself is dead. James 2 verse 17. We will not lie. We will not dehumanize. We will not worship power. We will protect the vulnerable. God of justice and mercy, burn the poison of contempt out of our mouths. Forgive us for cheering cruelty when it hit our enemies. Forgive us for calling fear wisdom. Forgive us for confusing rage with righteousness. Make us truthful. Make us brave. Make us disciplined. Protect the hungry. Protect the sick. Protect the immigrant. Protect the poor. Expose corruption. Restrain evil. Strengthen the people to resist injustice lawfully and nonviolently without losing their souls. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We'll see you next time, next Wednesday, 5:30 Central Time, for another episode of Your Path Live with Bishop Mark, right here at DULC, yourpathlive.online.church, yourpathlive.online.church, or any of our other occasions you're watching us tonight. Please join us again next week. And until then, folks, stay very warm this week, stay safe, and help your fellow man who may need a hand up this week. It's going to be rough all over the country. And I keep everybody in your prayers who is out there in the cold. We pray for you here as well. God bless all of you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for Your Path Live with Bishop Mark. Have a great week. We'll see you next time. God bless you.